The 8th live-action Star Trek series Strange New Worlds is almost upon us, and anticipation is about to exceed Warp 10. That's science speak for salamander speed. But what do we know about the show and the Enterprise's new, and in some cases not so new crew roster ahead of its May 5th premiere? A potent reminder of fan power, Strange New Worlds apparently wasn't planned, with Anson Mount, Ethan Peck and Rebecca Romaine only hired for a limited engagement as Captain Christopher Pike, Spock and the previously seldom seen number 1 for Star Trek Discovery. The addition of these legendary characters proved incredibly popular, with many fans considering them highlights of Discovery's second season. Some fans went as far as to create a petition calling for a new series to continue the adventures of a Pike-era Enterprise. Obviously realising the show's massive potential, CBS announced Strange New Worlds on May 15th, 2020, with Mount, Peck and Romaine crediting the fans for the show coming to fruition. More episodic, more optimistic, and more in line with the classic Trek of old, anticipation for Strange New Worlds has remained at feverish levels with most of the fanbase, myself being hopeful, albeit a little cautious with Picard's first season pre-launch hype still fresh in memory. While it hasn't been confirmed exactly when Strange New Worlds will be set, we can assume that the show will be taking place sometime following 2258 and the event seen in Discovery's second season finale, Such Sweet Sorrow. You know the one with all the drones, explosions and melting AI. I'm assuming the show isn't set before then, but it's possible that we could get flashbacks a la like the Short Treks episode Q&A to flesh out some of the show's new characters. I'm also not sure exactly where and how the Short Treks episode Ask Not featuring Cadet Sidhu fits in, but I'm assuming it's probably in the past at this point given the new uniforms and updated aesthetics. My educated guess would be the show picking up in 2261, 5 years following the events seen in the original series' original pilot, The Cage, and 5 years before Kirk takes command around 2265/2266. This time would explain the changes to uniform, the more retro-friendly tech, the absence of Cage crew members such as Dr. Boyce, Jose Tyler and Yeoman Colt, and could also explain the isolated and beardy Pike that we saw in the show's first teaser trailer. And yes lads, unless someone explicitly states otherwise, this show is set in the Prime universe. With the setting known and the era mostly deduced, what do we know about these characters, the crew of the Enterprise, the heroes we'll be joining for new adventures? Recently released teaser trailers and other material have given us some looks and hints, but what can we expect? Lieutenant Commander Erica Ortegas, played by Melissa Navia, will be the Enterprise's primary helmsman. A new addition to the Star Trek universe, we learn from her character teaser that Ortegas may be one of Starfleet's most gifted pilots, evidenced by some pretty nifty looking evasive maneuvers peppered throughout her preview. From additional footage, we see Ortegas might be handy with a phaser and could also be called for more physical action from time to time. Navia actually has a stunt performer credit to her name on IMDb. As seen from her exchanges with Pike, Ortegas could also serve as the show's comic relief character in a very similar role to Tig Notaro on Discovery. The health of the Enterprise's crew appears to be in safe and potentially innovative hands, with Babs Olusanmi bringing back the classic series character Dr. Mbenga. Originally played by Brooker Bradshaw, Dr. Mbenga previously appeared in 2 TOS episodes, Season 2's A Private Little War and Season 3's That Which Survives. Mbenga's character teaser trailer was one of my personal favourites, with the Doctor performing, actual Doctor duties in a Star Trek show. More than that, he appears to be attempting to create new treatments, antidotes for what you have to assume could be never before seen space diseases. It's all very Phlox and I'm delighted to see it. It's exciting to see Star Trek teaser return to showcasing medicine in the final frontier. One of the show's better known faces, Olusanmi, recently appeared in a prominent role as Jamis in the excellent first part of Denis Villeneuve's Dune movie adaptation. He's also got a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, something that may come in handy if the Doctor needs to get physical. Fixing the broken on the Enterprise in Strange New Worlds is Hemmer, an Anar engineer played by Bruce Horak, the first legally blind person cast in a regular role in Star Trek. Not much is currently known about Hemmer, except he appears to be very handy in a bind, able to think on his feet and craft solutions for the ship and crew. Hemmer marks the first on-screen appearance of the Anar since Enterprise introduced them back in its 4th season 2-parter, United and the Anar. A close relative of the Andorians, the Anar subspecies are distinguished by their icy pigmentation and telepathic abilities, which often comes at the cost of traditional eyesight. The last time we saw this race, they also had a very large population problem, with only a few thousand alive in 2154. The man behind the character, Horak himself, is a bit of a Renaissance man. Undeterred despite losing over 90% of his vision during childhood, Horak is a painter, visual artist and performer. Assisting Dr. Mbenga will be a familiar face, sort of, with Jess Bush assuming the role of Nurse Chapel, originally made famous by Majel Barrett, with appearances in the original series, the animated series, and a couple of cameos in the original Cruise movies. A lot of Chapel's background is already known, with the young nurse originally working as a biologist and engaged to Dr. Roger Corby before his sudden disappearance in 2261, a traumatic event that prompted her to join Starfleet in an attempt to search for him. It'll be interesting to see if the show maintains this continuity, particularly due to the timeline and the fact that we see Chapel and Spock interacting on multiple occasions in her teaser trailer. Could Corby be dropped in favour of some sort of switch that has Spock now interested in her? I'm not a betting man, but if I were, I'd probably put some money on this happening. One of the most intriguing and controversial additions to the cast is the Enterprise's chief ass-kicker, La'an Noonian Singh. Now, it's impossible not to do anything before addressing that name, which raises more questions as to how the show will deal with established canon. At this point, the Botany Bay is still years away from being discovered by Kirk and the Enterprise, meaning the show will have to get creative to explain the character's Khan connection. Her teaser trailer makes mention of a childhood disaster, which tracks with modern Trek requiring troubled origins, as well as her desires to run from the past. Is La'an a direct relative to Khan, or a more distant ancestor? In any case, using our own unfortunate history for a second, I find it odd that La'an would retain her incredibly infamous surname, considering her namesake's place in history as a tyrannical ruler. It's sort of like having Hitler as your last name. No one in the universe would want that kind of association. La'an's odd and potentially canon-breaking appearance does concern me, but Christina Chong, the versatile actress bringing her to screen, is a pleasant inclusion, known to many for appearances in popular shows like Black Mirror, 24, Line of Duty, and Doctor Who. One of Star Trek's enduring great characters will return in Strange New Worlds, with Broadway standout Celia Rose Gooding trading the stage for the stars to bring Nyota Uhura back to the screen. The addition of Uhura appearing on the show as a young and inexperienced cadet seems to canonize the pocket TOS novel The Tears of the Stingers, which revealed she graduated from the Academy in 2261, another clue as to the show's timeline, but a cool deep cut in franchise lore. With the character already well represented and explored with Zoe Zalander also playing a young cadet in the Kelvin movies, it'll be interesting to see what direction they go with Gooding's portrayal, although her trailer teases the same sort of nervous uncertainty we've seen from other junior officers in other modern Trek shows. A constant of the character, however, is Uhura's remarkable knowledge of multiple languages, reported to be over 30 in this show. Let's just hope she's brushed up on her Klingon. An essential component of the Strange New Worlds era, Ethan Peck's Spock returns following his small-screen reintroduction in Discovery's second season. So much is already known about this franchise cornerstone of a character, with Leonard Nimoy and Zachary Quinto previously exploring Spock's split ancestry and personal and societal struggles that come as a result. Peck took his version of Spock in a slightly different direction in Discovery, but now appears to be covering familiar ground, with his trailer teasing a return to the Vulcan combat arena last seen in a mock time. Sex and romance also appears to be on the agenda. His love interest hasn't been identified, but I wonder if this could be T'Pring in a move that would again put a bit of strain on what we've seen on screen previously. Delivering some memorable lines in his preview clips, it appears that acceptance might be Spock's primary arc on the show. In an intriguing move, Strange New Worlds has also finally given Spock a full name, something that was previously considered unpronounceable by humans. The name? I can't pronounce it. Once considered one of Star Trek's great missed opportunities, number one, or Una as we now know her, is finally getting the chance to shine on her own show, 57 years after NBC rejected Star Trek's first pilot. Initially portrayed by Majel Barrett in The Cage as a proto-Spock type character, this Una, now played by Rebecca Romaine, has been softened somewhat by her brief appearances on Discovery and in recent preview clips, although the character is still identified as an intimidatingly competent first officer and one of Starfleet's finest. Despite her previous appearances, Una remains arguably the one with the most potential for expansion, something I'm sure this new show will delight in doing. An intriguing visual from her trailer was a fight with someone appearing to be Leanne. Could Leanne be a secret villain living up to her famous name? Or could this be a shocking turn by Una? Or could it be what it will probably end up being? A fake-out brawl that's probably some sort of training scenario. The captain sat in the center seat is always vital to any Star Trek show, but never has one been so vital, so essential to the existence of its show as Anson Mount's Christopher Pike. Near universally praised for his appearances on Discovery, which helped inject that show with some much needed Trek, Mount's work has been rewarded with a show that deserves its current status as Star Trek's most anticipated project. Like other characters due to appear in Strange New Worlds, Pike has been fleshed out in the years following Jeffrey Hunter's dramatic portrayal of the character in The Cage, with Bruce Greenwood's version providing Chris Pine's Kirk with much needed guidance in the first two Kelvin movies. A large part of what makes this character so intriguing is that his doom is known, with Pike suffering horrific and life-changing injuries in the years following the end of his command of the Enterprise in the mid-2260s. Now, with knowledge of his unavoidable fate following the events of Discovery, how will this change Pike and his command style? These questions appear central to his arc in Strange New Worlds, and will likely be the reason for his dishevelled appearance as a recluse at the start of the show. An optimistic and charismatic leader with lots of energy, Anson Mount Pike is the protagonist we've been waiting for in a live-action Star Trek show, and I personally can't wait to see him lead this intriguing crew as they explore those exotics and, yes, Strange New Worlds. What are your thoughts on Strange New Worlds? Are you excited by the new characters and a teased return to a more familiar Trek structure? Let me know your thoughts and theories, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Trek reviews, analysis, and coverage of Strange New Worlds. Until next time, I'm the Trek Lad. Live long and prosper.